Welcome to this discussion on Appropriations 101. I said last week that we were going to have a discussion, a series of them, over the appropriation process and what the different terms mean. This is, as I said, the first lesson in Appropriations 101. The total federal budget is about $6.1 trillion. That's the total amount of money that the federal government spends. It's divided into two categories: discretionary spending and mandatory spending. The mandatory spending is about 4.6 trillion. The discretionary spending is 1.5 trillion. The difference in the two is this: mandatory spending, the federal government will spend that money on programs whether we have any money or not. It is for programs that are, by definition, mandatory. The only way you change the amount that can be spent in those programs is by changing the underlying law. It is things like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, other entitlement programs, some other minor ones that are not as big as the Social Security and Medicare. Those are the two major ones. But you're only going to change the amount you spend on those programs by changing the underlying law. Discretionary spending is everything else that you typically think of as government, whether that's defense, homeland security, transportation, interior, energy and water, agriculture. There's 12 different appropriation bills. That's what we appropriate money for in the Appropriations Committee every year. That's only about 1/3 of the total budget. The problem is, while we're trying to keep control of the discretionary budget on the appropriations side, the mandatory side of the budget is growing faster and faster. In fact, we went through a 10-year period where the discretionary part of the budget was flat, didn't increase at all. But yet the deficit kept going up because mandatory spending kept growing. So that's the difference between mandatory and discretionary spending, and that's the first lesson in this discussion on the appropriations process. Next time we will get into what the mandatory and discretionary individual programs are and how you're going to control them.